Welcome to the 1% Club, right on the money, right on time. Great to see you guys. Got home from Tahoe last night. Golfed my brains out, hang out with the family, just had a wonderful time. Packed up the cabin, month of July in the bag, and it's good to be back in the saddle. So good to see all those beautiful faces. Good to see everyone. Hey, before we dive into some of today's content, and I'm excited, we have like the best recruiting moment. It's separation season. Write that one down. It's separation season. You're going to separate yourself from the amateurs and the pros, those that are serious and those that are curious. So, and there's just a huge opportunity to recruit agents because nobody knows what to do with the NAR lawsuit. I'm going to tell you what to do with the NAR lawsuit in 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere. In the meantime, just want to let you know, I did get back this weekend from the LA build. It was at the Disney Hotel. Mwah, amazing. And then afterwards we served prime rib and Italian food and all these just huge prime ribs. It was amazing. Everyone had the best time. Fireworks show. It was quite the event that Disney let us do at their facilities, and then to have dinner on the lawn at 6 o'clock afterwards was sweet. By the way, we had a ton of guests there. And they're in, left and right, they're in. And then we had, I know specifically of two brokerages that showed up, one with 200 plus agents, one with 300 plus agents. The one with 200, they're in Las Vegas right now at Inman. They're meeting with Amy Weaver and Leo Pareja right now. They are lit. And so that's looking really good. So you think, well, that's great. It wasn't me. Hey, baby, your turn's coming. Your turn is coming. So it was fire. It was amazing. It was so good. Then we went up to Salem, Oregon. Now, if you don't know Salem, Oregon build, it's outside of Portland, just to give you your geography. Most people know where Portland is. Go about an hour and a half away, and you're in Salem. We're at the convention center, packed it out, stayed at the Grand there, super, super good. So that was a blast. Glenn Sanford showed up and spoke and was all around all day. So super exciting, very good. And then at the same time, Dallas build was happening, was not able to be there, but reports were amazing. Everyone's fired up. Guests are in. Of course, we've done Honolulu. We have done Cape Town, and we finished Vancouver, Canada. So if you can believe this, we've done 7. I believe, is that right? 7? Why do I want to say 6? So 6 of the 10 builds. We have 3 happening this weekend. We have Detroit. We have Orlando, Build at Sea out of Orlando for 3 days. We have Detroit, which I'll be there Thursday. So if you're in Detroit, I will see you there. Lou's going to pick me up at the airport, my wife and I. And then that night, we fly straight to Orlando and board the Utopia, the biggest cruise ship in the world. It's like 3 times the size of the Titanic. Should never compare your ship to the Titanic. It's a bad omen, but hey, what the heck. When you're going to go, you're going to go. When your number's up, it's up. So, but we're going to be doing that. We got a glass room on the back. It's all, they call it the solarium, our cabin. It holds like 50 people. It's going to be nuts. It was only 3 days, kind of a fun splurge, but we're doing that. And then at the same time is New Jersey build with Dave and Kristen Kennord and Vincent Koo, and all kinds of people are flying out for that one. It's going to be great. So we got 3 more this week, and we had 3 last week, and that's 6. We've done 3, that's 9. And then Charlotte, North Carolina is coming up in September. Last but not least, by the way, they're committed to being the biggest build. They are, nobody broke 1,000 this year. We have 10 of them. The goal was to have 10,000 people at builds, but nobody broke 1,000. Charlotte says they're going to do it. So I told them if they get over 1,000 people, I will fly to Montana and ride a horse. Those of you that know me, I like looking at horses. I've ridden horses 3 times in my life. I look like an absolute idiot. It feels awkward. I don't like it. And so Kevin and Shelly own a ranch in Montana with 20 acres. And they said, if we get 1,000, you are going to come get on a horse and go horseback riding. So I'm praying for 999. I will pay people the number 1,000 to like no show, but they're after it. They want to see me on a horse big time. So we'll see how that goes. But so that'll be in the bag. There's so many good things happening. So here's the deal. push. If you have anyone in the New Jersey, the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, they're doing one at this beautiful resort. It's not the Emerald Resort, I forget, but it's at buildevent24.com. I forget the name of the resort New Jersey's at. The Crystal, I think it's called the Crystal Resort. Dave and Kristen Conorder headed up. It's going to be the bomb. And of course, Detroit. Detroit is a huge turnout, and they get some amazing speakers lined up. So we'll be there Thursday. But bring people. If you got anyone in Michigan, Detroit, the whole kind of Midwest thing, whatever, almost going east, that's there. Ohio, get people there. Colorado, get them up there. And then, of course, Orlando, down south, anywhere in Florida, man. Although that one's, it's sold out, but cabins come available. That's all I can tell you. And I just tell my people, if you want to go, figure it out, call, reach out, find a way, get on that cruise ship. Kathy and I are going, it's going to be great. So keep pushing. Okay. I'm going to switch gears and we're going to talk to you about the huge recruiting opportunity coming up with NAR. So the NAR lawsuit is awesome. Why is it great? Every one of you should book an event next week. Every single one of you on the 1% call, you guys are 1%ers. You're not the 99%ers. You're the 1%ers. What are 1%ers? They take action now. I did March Madness, but it was in May. I called it May Madness. I did 10 locations. I called people, get a venue, get this, get that. I'm coming. And that's how it started. Then we made up flyers and we started getting speakers and boom, 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 action, action, action. Well, Brent, I can't do that. Well, what can you do? Well, I guess I could call my title company and book their conference room, or the mortgage company and book their conference room and pull together 10 people. Do that. Guess where I started? Okay, now you're making me mad. You guys don't want to upset me. Trust me, you don't want to do this. So now I'm going to go. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. Because I happen to have a picture of the very first EXP Brent Gove made. And you guys think everything I did, there was so many people. So what I have here is my very first EXP meeting ever. Here it is. That is a conference room at a mortgage company. That is Chris Okamura. He was a Berkshire Hathaway manager. Look how nice he looks. And then look how packed the room is. Super packed, super packed. Woo! Brent Gove's killing it. But I did them every single week. Eventually, we go on to pack this room. And then here's what it ended up looking like down the road. I think I have a picture of the packed room. There it is. So this is what meetings started looking like about a month later. Same room, baby, same room. And so every one of you, what are you going to do? Call your mortgage company or your title company. Why specifically mortgage and title, not a hotel? Hotels are weird. Avoid them if you can. They're just weird. It sounds like a network marketing job to me. And I love network marketing. Network marketing, I was in it for 10 years. What is network marketing? I'll tell you what it is. It's loving people. Who makes that network marketing? The people who love and serve and add value. There's some people who do weird, goofy stuff. There's people like that at church. There's people like that are financial planners. There's people like that are everywhere. There's goofy realtors. We all know a bunch, right? I'm goofy. But here's the deal. Do what you can, where you can. And so book a title company, a mortgage company, do something and say, we're going to go over the NAR lawsuit, the huge opportunity for you. So what's the huge opportunity? Well, here's the great news. It's not I'm going to show you how to survive. I'm going to show you how to kill it. This is great news because here's the deal. Now people back east, when everybody had to do this, when you get a listing, you sign a listing agreement, and as soon as you get the seller's signature and you drive away with a $700,000 listing, or even a little tiny one for $400,000, and you get 5% or 6% or 7% or 4%, I would do really small deals sometimes, and I would charge 10%. I would charge 10%, absolutely right, and 10%. I'd explain why. Your home's very, very inexpensive, and I can't work for that. I don't work for minimum wage. By the time the government gets paid a third, my broker gets paid, and I get paid, and I have my overhead, I make minimum wage. So it's 10% if you want my services, and people always paid it. You get what you expect. Some of you, you're like, okay, Coldwell Banker will do it for 5. Will you do it for 4.5? EXP will do it for 4.5. Who will do it for 3? 3. Do I hear 2? Do I hear 1? It's a race to the bottom. right? It's a race to the bottom. So here's the deal. In the absence of value, it's all about money. So you have to explain your value, which is getting a sheet of paper and going, here's what I bring to the table. I do this, 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 I do this. Watch this. Do you see this? In one day, it became this. In one day, this looks pretty, all fancy, but it started off here. I want you to start off here on a piece of paper. Look at my writing. It's not even pretty. And then somebody who's pretty and knows how to do graphics makes your stuff look pretty. And you go, here's my value proposition. Here are all the things. Now, this isn't a one for a buyer. This is about agent attraction, because that's kind of where my head is, right? You could, anyways, I digress. The point is this: you could come up with all the things you do to help them, and then a picture's worth 1,000 words. When you show them something pretty like this, write down, what is it you do exactly? What do you do? Write it on paper. Here's what I do for buyers. Here's what I do for sellers. And then you can hand them something. Thank you, Barry. This is seller, payment, buyer, broker. Okay. Is it going to change, or is this what the latest thing they're working on?
This is the latest. They're
Okay.
saying this is just revised 2 days ago.
Barry Mathis, hot off the price for California. And you notice it says California Association of Realtors. There'll be a different one for every single state. But what I'm trying to get at is this. We drive away from that listing so excited because we have a signed listing agreement. It's done. The listing's yours. The listings are, we've always said for the last almost 30 years, it's money in the bank. It's not if it sells, it's when it sells. Now, some listings don't sell, but usually they do. It's like gold. Listings are gold. They're like money in the bank, baby. Buyers, they may buy for you. They may meet someone at an open house next week in a Coldwell Banker and buy from Coldwell Banker. 6 months from now, they may meet a Remax agent at the gym. I see Carlette. I think that's you, Carlette. She's on the treadmill. Look at Carlette, everybody. Good for you, Carlette. You might meet next to Carlette jamming on the treadmill. Hey, what's your name? My name is Carlette. I'm an EXP agent. Oh my gosh, who are you? We're Bob and Kim. Bob's a fireman, and I'm a pediatrician. I'm Kim, the pediatrician. Oh, and then she's like, you are so nice. I like you. We've been looking to buy homes for half a year. In fact, we spent a year with Matt Plummer, with Andrea LaFountain, with Matthew Stewart. Really nice guys. We were with Teresa. We were with Janet. We spent a year with David Mills, that big smile. Love that guy. But I mean, he hasn't helped us find a house yet. And Michelle there, she's awesome. I don't have my glasses on. I cannot read a thing. It's all blurry. I'm trying so hard to read. I'm like, where are my glasses? I always, oh, there they are. They are. Oh, these are sunglasses. Those are not going to help me. Now, here's the deal. I spent a year, 6 months, but could you help me? And Carlette's like, sure, sweetheart, I'd love to help you. And then she sells him a house after. And we've all been there. It hurts. So what the NAR lawsuit has done, it's made every buyer like a listing agreement. You must sign a listing agreement to get your head around this with the buyers. And so next week at Guild Mortgage, next week at Chase Mortgage, next week at First American, Old Republic, Chicago Title, it's neutral turf. Mortgage and title companies are neutral turf. Over there on Blue Oaks, over there on Elk Grove Boulevard, over there on Watt Avenue, you pick somewhere, people, oh yeah, I know that First American. I know that Guild Mortgage. Over there at Bank of America in their conference room, we're going to explain how to just kill it with this whole thing. Because here's the great news. Nobody would do the buyer broker in California. Back east, they do them. So for you guys, it's not as much of a change, right? In fact, Jared, do you guys do buyer broker in Richmond, Virginia? Do you do that? Is that normal practice?
Always have, yep.
Always have. So for you, this NAR lawsuit, it changes a little bit because of the MLS thing. So there's definitely a change, but getting the buyer to sign a buyer broker is like the most normal thing in the world for you. You would never show property without a buyer broker for the most part, right?
What's funny is I got in this business 11 years ago, and when I got in the business, it was a state law that you could not open a door without showing somebody or signing one. And then they changed it. And then it's loosely, you have to sign when you start advising, which really then it's kind of like open to interpretation when you start advising. But when we started in this thing at Remax, we had manila folders when you walked in the office. And if you walked in the office, Jared Davis's folder was about that thick of buyer brokerage agreements. And they just stood in my car, and every door I showed up to, they signed one. So we're just going back to that. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, so for us out west, everyone's all freaked out about it. Like we don't do that. I did the one with an Intel employee 2004, probably 20 years ago. He came back to the office 2 years later crying. This is an Intel engineer. He was in tears. He begged me. He was actually emotionally disturbed because I signed him up. Craig Proctor says, sign your buyers to a buyer broker. And it was back then, it was like a $500,000 sale, which was big money. It was like $1 million sale today. And it'd be like a $30,000 commission. And he begged me to release him from the buyer broker because I'm a good salesman. I got him to sign it. And he was in tears. And I said, dude, of course, no problem. You know, no problem. Be released. And he bought to somebody else. It cost me 15 grand. I'm quite sure, but I'm like, the heck with buyer brokers. I'm not doing that because it cost me $15,000 to try it. Well, now the cool thing is you tell everyone, hey, I don't know if you've seen, there was a huge lawsuit, national lawsuit. Every real estate company, every brokerage, you must sign it. It's like the law. I can't even show you property to sign it. Century 21 can't, Realty One. I mean, unless they break the law. And if you want to buy a home with someone who breaks the law, have at it. But basically what the big lawsuit was about was you have to sign a buyer broker with the buyer. We're not allowed to show you property without this. So like, oh, okay, they relax. Well, if it's a law, I got to obey. I got to be a rule follower. And some people love that kind of stuff. And then you go through and you get them to sign. Now, here's the cool thing. The other really cool thing was there was ways around it if you were really sophisticated, which I would say 1/10 of 1% of the agents in America did this. It is really difficult to negotiate your commission with the seller as a buyer's agent. There was a way to actually do it, which nobody ever did. There was a way. Now, all of us must do it. Like 100% of the buyers must negotiate your commission directly with the seller. It's the law. So what I would do, and I'm going to use Brandon. Brandon, green plate, unmute yourself, brother. So I would call Brandon up. Do you guys use buyer broker? He's out there in Hilton Head, everybody. If you have any buyers or sellers listing their $10 million mega mansions, there's your man right there, Brandon green plate. Call him up and he'll give you a big fat referral. But do you guys do buyer broker out Hilton Head too?
Yeah, we had buyer brokerage agreements, but it was a little lax for a while,
Yeah.
and now it's about to change.
Kind of like Jared said, there was interpretation and when you advise and all that. But so now you have to do it and you have to negotiate great with the seller. Now, what were the typical commissions in Hilton Head in the MLS offered this past, say, 6 months ago? Was it 3%? Was it 2.5%? Was it all
3%.
all 2.5s, a blend, or mainly 2.5s or twos? What was it?
Most, let's say 85%, 3%, 15%, less than that, 2.5. Every one, you saw 2% was like, whoa.
Yeah, you saw 2%, like, wow. So here's the deal. You got what they gave you. Like, would everyone agree? Whatever's in the MLS, dang, they like this house. It's 2%, and you're kind of like, why do they have to like the house that's offering 2% or 1.5? I mean, you want to back your truck up on their lawn? You'd buy a truck just to do this, and then just hit it, give them a good old lawn job. Like, suckers, 1.5%. I have a $3 million sale. I'm only getting 1.5, and of course, when you would see, did they ever offer 3 in your MLS, Brandon?
Yes. As a
When you
co-broker,
see
yes.
3, does your heart sink, or are you like, oh, cool, this one's a 3,
Oh,
right?
cool. That's what it should be.
Absolutely, we all do. I mean, I would do 2.5 all day long, but I saw 3. But guess what? Now we're not allowed to just take what they give us. We have to negotiate with the seller. So here's how this works. Hey, Brandon, calling you on Hilton Head Court out in Hilton Head. Beautiful listing, $4.5 million there. Just stunning. I love it. Is your seller cooperating with buyers agents? Because I have a buyer from Connecticut. I think this would be perfect for them. They're from Manhattan. They're from West Palm, but they want to get out here and have a slower life and out in Hilton Head. They're just excited about retiring here. Is your seller cooperating? Tell me you don't know, because he just negotiated his 3%, right? His 2.5, his 4%. Tell me right now, role play, and say, man, I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm not sure. It's something that's going to have to be determined between the seller and the buyers.
Okay, but I'm pretending we're in that market now. It's 3 weeks from now. We're in it, right? I said, okay, well, it's great. I have the perfect buyers from Connecticut, Brandon. I think they would love this house, but I'm simply unwilling to bring my $4.5 million buyers to your $4.5 million listing without knowing for sure. So would you please call your seller and ask them, are they willing to cooperate with the buyer's broker for bringing a client? This is the law. We couldn't do this before. This is where you guys need to get excited. You need to get pumped up and fired up. I am so pumped. You're going to make so much more money. Watch, I'll demonstrate. So Brandon, can you call your sellers and ask them if they will cooperate? If I bring my $4.5 million buyer to your would you ask them? What would you say to me? Yes or no?
I would say, yeah, I'll call them and ask if
Yep,
you
of
got
course
call
you
my
would.
buyer for sure.
Okay, so call me. I'm your seller. Ask me if I'll cooperate and provide a commission to me. Go ahead. Call me up. Hello, Brandon. How you doing? He's my listing agent. What's your question to me?
Hey, Brent, I got some buyers working with an agent over here. They're asking me if you are going to provide a commission to the buyer's agent for bringing the buyer to your house that, it sounds like they're very interested in and qualified.
Yeah, of course I will, Brandon. I mean, that all depends upon how much he offers me. If he offers me 3 million, 3.5 million, 4 million, I can tell you probably not. I mean, if he gets close to 4.5, then we'll definitely definitely work with them. So please call him back, Brandon. Tell him we'd love to work with them. Yes, I will totally offer a commission. So, okay, call me back. He just called a seller. Now call me. Hell, Brent, tell me what the seller just told you.
Hey, Brent, I just talked with the seller and they are willing to compensate and work with the buyer's agent. But the number needs to be right.
Oh, gotcha. How many of you would take a job if you didn't know what it paid? You have an air traffic controller. Yeah, we'll pay you. We'll compensate you. When you get your first paycheck, you'll find out what it is. We're like, oh, no. Is it 60,000 a year? Is it 80? Is it 180? Is it New York City? $250,000 a year air traffic controller? Could JFK, LaGuardia, because it's LAX, you're going crazy, what is it? And Brandon's like, well, I don't know. He really didn't say. It all depends on, you said it all depends on how good the offer is. I said, that's great, Brandon. Thank you very much, Brandon. But I'm simply unwilling to bring my $4.5 million client to show your $4.5 million listing. And I noticed it's been there for 28 days and hopefully it'll sell next week. But you and I both know in this price range, it could be there for 128 days. Make sure your seller knows that. Call them back. I will bring my $4.5 million buyer, who I think is perfect for this home. Stress to your seller, they're from Connecticut. They think Hilton Head prices are cheap. I'm telling you, they think this is a good deal. But I will not bring them for less than 4%. 4% is my commission. Sure as hell isn't 2.5 or 3, but it's 4%. Now I wouldn't say hell or whatever, but it's 4%. And if they don't want to, we have to negotiate. He's lucky I'm not asking for 8 or 7 or 6. We could do whatever we want. It is gloves off. The whole point of the lawsuit, there is no 2.5. There is no 3. It's whatever you want it to be. You could do 1, you could do 10. So my fee for my high-end dream client, Brian, is 4%. Call your seller back and tell me it's 4. So he calls me back and says, hey, okay, this guy says he's got the perfect client from Connecticut. He thinks the prices are phenomenally inexpensive here in Hilton Head. He's excited about your property, but he's not willing to bring his client for less than 4%. Will you do 4%? And I say, well, yeah, I'll do 4%, but the price has got to be right. Well, we don't know what they're going to offer, but if you don't like it, then there's no deal and you never pay the 4%. And if we come to an agreement on the price, then you're going to pay 4%. Will you do it? He says, no, I'm not going to do 4%. I'll do 3.5. Calls me back, says, Brent, would you do 3.5 for your client? Sure, I'll do 3.5. So I'm going to send over, and I ripped it up and threw it behind me. The one page, like in California, we have a 1 page. Here it is, send it over with the offer. Oh, no, sweetheart. We are, well, don't call anyone sweetheart. I'm having fun here. Don't call a man sweetheart. Don't call a woman sweetheart. Strike that from the record. But you guys get my point. Oh, no. We're going to put this in writing. I'm not even showing the property, let alone writing an offer until I know what I'm getting paid. And so he'll do 3.5. In Hilton Head, is it a 1-page form that you guys use for that in Hilton Head? Do you know, Brandon?
I don't know what we use because we've
Okay,
never used
Jared,
it.
no problem. Guess what? We just got the form. I don't know if you saw the one that said draft and there's all this red on it. We're just getting them too. Do you have that form yet, Jared, in Richmond, Virginia?
We have a 2-page form that we've always used and we can still use, but then EXP has done their 1 page so that it's supposed to just be simpler so people don't say, oh, I got to get this to a lawyer, essentially.
Now, my understanding is you can use either form. You could stick with the state form or go to EXP's form. Does anybody else know right or wrong from that? Am I right? You could choose to do either form. Is that David Mills is saying yes? Jared, do you know for sure? Oh, Yvonne's saying yes, David. So they're agreeing with me. I heard properly. You can use your state forms or you can use our simplified form. David, where are you from, David? Again, what state?
I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and we don't have a form like that we're gonna use. We're gonna use the EXP form. It's seller to broker. That's what the form is, the seller to broker compensation.
Yeah, because they can't compensate a agent or even a broker. They can compensate. We're broker associates and agent associates. And of course, the seller may only pay the head broker. That is why in all 50 states, it'll be seller to broker, then the broker pays us. So if you're capped, you're going to get 4% of $4.5 million, not 2 or 2.5. I love the fact that we can negotiate. We can play hardball with the seller. You know who wins in negotiations? Write this down. He or she who cares least wins. I go, I'm just telling you right now, I got 10 other properties in Hilton Head I can show. Jared, Braden, look it up. I looked it up. Go show your seller. There's 10 other choices. And guess what? They're cooperating. And so make sure your seller knows I'm not willing to do 3.5%. I work for 4. My fee is 4%. They don't want it. We will take this off the show list, reverse the FOMO. The seller's like, right, I got a killer buyer from Connecticut, from Manhattan, from West Palm Beach, and I'm going to lose it over 0.5%. Fine. Tell them I'll pay 4%. Good, nice seller. Now here's the 1-page EXP form that is now out. If you don't have it, contact your state broker and get it signed. And then the seller agrees to pay how much? 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20%. Charge what you want. The lawsuit is about not fixing pricing. I pay one attorney $500 an hour to do some estate planning work for me. I have a tax attorney out of DC. Man, that guy charged me thousands an hour. And I gladly paid it because I valued who he was. Would I pay estate planning attorneys? They're everywhere. There's a lot more of them. A sophisticated tax attorney. And so riches are in the niches. Estate planning is for the masses, high-end, high-income tax planning. And so same thing. What are you? Who are you? And so you get to charge what you want. And, maybe start off at 5, work your way down to 4. That we'll do 3. I won't do 3. I'll bring my client. I tell you what, I'll do 4. Take it or leave it. 4. Otherwise, I'm taking my client somewhere else. I'm so looking forward to this. This was called a ethics violation if you were to contact Jared's client, at least in California. And I don't know, maybe it's different with David Mills in Sarasota. Maybe it was different with Matt Plummer out in Las Vegas or Matthew Stewart in Sacramento. But in California, if you contacted the seller directly and negotiated with the seller directly, this was an ethics violation. Was it different in your states? Were you guys allowed to negotiate with the seller directly? Anybody want to chime up on that? I really don't know. I just know California law. Anybody?
For us, it's funny because for 10 years they said you cannot negotiate commissions in a contract, and then literally now all this happened. They were like, "No, you always could," and so I think they lied to us, right? They're like, "You can't do it," and now they're like, "Here's the one sentence you put into the additional terms to do it." And so literally before any of this happened, the last 4 months we've had, I don't know, 4 or 5 contracts that were 2%, 2.5%, whatever. And we negotiated 3 or more on all of them because we just added into paragraph 23 and said, this is what you're paying us. This is the offer. It's not rocket science.
Yep. So here's what I want you to do. Book a meeting next week. Well, I need 3 months to get ready for this. Do it next week. If you want to push it off 2 weeks, you need something to like, get going. I'm already behind. And then ask one of your managing brokers in your state to show up. Well, they live 3 hours away. Have them show up on Zoom. Have them open the Zoom link, go a day or 2 before to First American or Guild, get their tech person, the nerdy 23-year-old who's like, oh yeah, my God, this is so easy. Click, 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 and it's up and running. Make sure that your laptop connects, your PC, God forbid you have a PC, connects to their Samsung smartphone or TV on the wall. And then you could put your managing broker for EXP and your state up on that wall. And then you have them talk about, here's the form we're using from EXP. And yes, you're allowed to negotiate. You can negotiate any commission you want. And guess what? If you may be new and scared and you have like one client, you're like, but guess what? If you have, I had at one point 80 clients and I had 10 of them that were like, gotta buy a home this weekend, will buy a home this weekend, must, because I had 80. Well, guess what? If you have 10 clients, you might have one, gotta buy a home this weekend, must buy a home this weekend, motivated, capable, ready to go clients. What do you want? Do you want tire kickers or do you want motivated clients? Well, I do, but I only got one. I got two. I go, so you have a lead generation problem. You have refused to master lead generation. You have absolutely refused to master lead generation. That's what the issue is. It's your narcissistic ego going, I can't bother expireds. I can't bother the for sale by owners. I can't call my sphere and ask for referrals. You are so prideful. Humble yourself. Take your hat, put it in your hand, and go up to them and say, I have a goal this month to sell 5 homes. I could be more excited. You know anyone want to buy and sell a home, a business, or a building? A home, a business, or a building. We're commercial agents, guys. Have your commercial partner, Paul Frank, if you don't. And let me tell you what, when you start getting 80 clients, quit playing around with none, 2 or 3. Stop it. We don't look that good anyway. I don't want to look bad. We look bad. Get over it. Be authentic. Wear those tats. Say it wrong, because you'll start saying it really well. The way to well is to do it badly. Want to win. I want to win so bad. I can just taste it. But here's the deal. I'm willing to fail. I am so willing to fail. Are you? I proved it a long time ago by setting out open house signs at 9 a.m. for an hour in the rain with the wind going 60 miles an hour and having to completely towel off and change your clothes and then open the door and do an open house all day. Nobody did the open house. And when it's 118 degrees in Phoenix, I can guarantee you I'll be doing open houses. And when it snows, and when there's a freaking tornado, I'll be doing open houses. I do, like the postman in the rain, in the wind, in the sleet, in the hail, the postman delivers, baby. We got to go back to some postman stuff. You got to bone up and be the woman God called you to be, the man God called you to be. Beat on your chest and growl a little and go make this thing happen. Get the clients and then reverse the FOMO on the seller and start earning yourself at least 3 every single time instead of 2.5. Well, that's 0.5%. On a $500,000 home, it's $2,500. You sell 30 homes a year, 10 times 2,500 is 25,000. 30 is 75,000. I could do math like that. It's an extra 75 grand. And then you get more comfortable with this. You say, hey, my fee's 3.5. I'm not like everyone else. And my clients not like everyone else. They're from San Francisco. They're from San Jose. Everybody from Sacramento knows that. The people who pay the big money are from San Francisco and San Jose. So where do you live? I live in Nashville. Who moves there with the big money and thinks your prices are cheap? Although they're from California, they're from New York, they're from Seattle. Yep, that's who I specialize in. How do you do that and not lie? Go to Facebook, pay them $10 and send out 25,000 messages to people who make between 300 and 600,000 a year that are professionals. You could just tie it all in, or at least you used to back when I was in the Stone Ages when we used tablets. Could you still do that with Facebook? Could you still target the market like that? You can't. No, they quit doing that on Facebook. Brandon says, well, somebody must be doing it. Find that person, pay them $25 and get it done, and make sure your marketing. Send emails to the Remax agent in Manhattan. Send emails to the Compass agents in San Francisco. Like, you could do this. Like, I'm busy. Have your 16-year-old do it. Have your 14-year-old do it. That's child labor. Yes. Violate a few laws. I mean, if they're kids, it's not really child labor abuse. Okay, I'm just having fun with you. I'm kidding around, but kind of not. I'm like, I've got a bunch of kids, and I'm like, you like you're doing yard work. You're mowing the lawns. You're going to work like a dog. All right. I love you guys. I hope, and then you get guests there and you help them so much. You're like, that was awesome. Never talk about EXP other than, maybe the piece of paper from EXP, but it's not about EXP. It's about them. It's about your kids. And then go back to Remax and Kill. It's broker agnostic. Go back to Compass, but help them so much that they want to know more about you and our company. And then it'll open the door for you to grow the agent expansion part. It is 2:04. I went 4 minutes over. Hopefully you got something, but take action. I'm telling you, just do it. Call and book a room right now with Guild. I'm going to bring 10 people in. I'm going to teach them how to kill it in this thing. And you could do a little 2-minute thing on Guild Mortgage. You could do a 5-minute thing on Old Republic. Do not give them a half hour. Don't. You can introduce the escrow. You got 2 minutes. You can say a lot in 2 minutes. And then you deliver. You don't need 3 hours. You need an hour. And then you get on the phone, invite people there, and it's game over. This is a great way to grow. All right, you guys, I'm doing Mastering Sales in 5 minutes. Thank you for being on today. If you got to bounce, I'll see you in 5 minutes. And this is kind of a Mastering Sales call, actually, the more I think about it, but it's also a great way to attract agents. Love you guys. We'll see you in 5 minutes.